Sami Zayn waited 24 years to become WWE Champion. 24 years, and CM Punk took it away from him in 9 days. 9 days in circumstances so ruthless, so blindsiding, that right now all signs are pointing to this being the moment that finally breaks Sami Zayn for good. And if that happens, WWE loses one of the most important people on their entire roster. Stay until the end because the final reveal changes everything. What is up, Leap Nation? Welcome back to WWE Leap, the channel that breaks down every earthquake the second it hits WWE. To understand why this moment cuts so deep, you need to understand exactly what Sami Zayn's championship win meant. This wasn't just another title change. This was 24 years of professional wrestling, 13 of those years grinding through WWE, being told no in 100 different ways, the Bloodline storyline, the near misses at WrestleMania, the years of being beloved but never trusted with the top spot. When Zayn pinned Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, the wrestling world stopped. Locker rooms that had nothing to do with each other were texting each other. Wrestling Twitter went from cynical to emotional in about 30 seconds flat. People who hadn't cried at wrestling in years were crying. It felt like the most deserved, most overdue championship win of an entire generation. And then Raw happened. And it took a sledgehammer to every single bit of it. So here is the exact sequence of events on July 6th in Chicago. Raw opens with Sami Zayn as WWE Champion, scheduled to defend against Cody Rhodes. Before that match can even breathe, Gunther shows up backstage, a man who was supposedly on administrative leave after his confrontation with SmackDown GM Nick Aldis, and he powerbombs Cody Rhodes directly through a table. Then, just to make absolutely sure, slams a car door into Rhodes' skull. Bloodied. Out of action. Medically unfit to compete. Zayn is backstage watching this happen, and you could see it on his face, relief. He thought the night was his. Adam Pearce had other ideas. Pearce walks up to Zayn and tells him flat out Chicago was promised a WWE Championship match and Chicago is getting one. A replacement was already found. And then the loading dock door opened on the Arenatron. The crowd absolutely lost their minds. It was CM Punk. Back in his hometown. Back in the Allstate Arena. Back for the WWE Championship. Before we go further, if you are enjoying this breakdown, smash the like button and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel grow and keeps these videos coming. Now back to the story. Because the match itself was something special, and what happened inside that ring makes Zayn's situation even more heartbreaking. Punk and Zayn gave Chicago everything they had. This wasn't a squash, wasn't a quick title change. Zayn fought like a man who knew his entire legacy was on the line. He hit Punk with a GTS, Punk's own finisher, and Punk kicked out. He hit a Blue Thunder bomb. Kicked out again. The crowd was split, electric, completely alive. Then Zayn looked Punk dead in the eyes, slapped him across the face and told him he was the champion now. That was the moment everything shifted. Punk blocked the hell of a kick, hit his own hell of a kick, then landed the go-to-sleep perfectly in the center of that Chicago ring. 3 count. Done. 9 days. Over. And Sami Zayn sat in that ring and stared at nothing. That image, that empty stare, is what has people genuinely worried about where his head is at right now. Here is the twist everyone missed. Every analyst assumed that even if Zayn lost the title quickly, WWE would immediately pivot him into a high-profile rematch or a new program to keep his momentum alive. That was the logical play. But instead, the entire post-show conversation shifted entirely to Punk vs. Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, which is the match WWE always planned, and Sami Zayn's name was barely mentioned in the same breath. That's the most telling detail of all. Not the loss itself. The silence after it. That silence is where Zayn's future gets genuinely murky. And that brings us to CM Punk right now. 8 World Championships. His first WWE title since that iconic 434-day reign in 2011. He returned in the most dramatic circumstances possible and reminded everyone exactly who he is. SummerSlam is now Punk vs. Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, the match Triple H always had planned. Punk himself, on the anniversary of his 2011 Money in the Bank win, looked directly at that Chicago crowd and said simply, "I'm home." So here are 3 things that could happen to Sami Zayn. 1. Zayn returns with fury, immediately goes after Punk for a rematch, and SummerSlam ends up being a triple threat nobody saw coming. 2. Zayn disappears from television entirely for weeks, with all signs pointing to genuine backstage conversations about his future in WWE. 3. The controversial swing. Zayn turns full heel, burns the beloved babyface character to the ground, and blames everyone: Gunther, Pierce, Punk, even the fans who couldn't protect him, rebuilding himself as the most bitter and dangerous man on SmackDown. One of these three things will happen. The only question is which one. Bottom line, Sami Zayn's 9-day reign is the most bittersweet story in WWE right now, and CM Punk is back on top of the entire industry. Does Zayn have the heart to come back from the worst blindside of his career, or did Chicago finally break him? Drop your answer below. Next video, we're breaking down the full SummerSlam 2026 card now that Punk has the title and everything has changed. Until then, Leap Nation, stay locked in.